Hello everyone and welcome to PendulumEdu, and in this session here we are here to discuss a few vocabulary words. As I said that we've been discussing these words just for your interest, and I always ask you to let me know the words that you remember from the previous session. So today as well, I want you to comment below the words that you remember from the previous session. Also, the words that you find repetitive, that come like over and over, that are frequently occurring ones in the editorials, do let us know if you notice any. Let's begin with today's session, and the article that we have for today is Minsk on the brink on Belarus political crisis. So we're talking about political backdrop or political situation in Belarus. And when I say Minsk on the brink, when the article has this, Minsk is the capital city. It's a noun. It's the capital city for Belarus. Okay, it is the capital city of, like we have India, New Delhi. So similarly, we have Belarus, Minsk. Okay. Now it is on the brink. It says Minsk on the brink. Brink is again a noun which means on the edge or verge of something. कहते ना कि कगार पे होना, right? एक edge पर होना, कोई एक बहुत ही edge point पर होना. That is brink. So Minsk is on the brink. Now, why we would come to know कि ऐसा क्यों कहा जा रहा है? A smooth transition of power is essential for stability and prosperity of Belarus. They say that a smooth transition of power, there has to be a transfer of power, and that has to be really smooth. This is what is essential. It is important for the stable and prosperous growth of this particular nation, that is Belarus. With a strong man trying to cling on to power. Cling is a verb which means to stick to something. Like किसी चीज पर अड़ जाना या चिपके रहना. Okay, एक ही बात पर अड़े रहना या चिपके रहना. So with a strong man trying to cling on to power despite mounting challenges and a defiant opposition. Defiant is an adjective used here. It means someone who expresses or who shows defiance or resistance. Resistance. Now with resistance I mean someone who is against, like जो कि आसानी से कोई बात नहीं मानता है, जो कि रेजिस्ट करता है किसी चीज को. कहते हैं ना, एक तरीके से उस चीज को किसी चीज को मना करना, किसी चीज से रेजिस्ट करना. So किसी चीज की मना करना या उस चीज से दूर भागना. Okay, that's so a defined opposition determined to continue protests despite a police crackdown. The political crisis in Belarus appears to have entered into a dangerous stalemate. Now, crackdown is a noun. Crackdown means a series of measures taken against the illegal activities, or to control the illegal activities, taken against or to control the illegal activities. That is crackdown. एक तरीके की ये कार्रवाई होती है. Okay, that is what crackdown is. So despite the police crackdown, the policemen are there to actually process all this. Still the opposition is defined to वो अड़े हुए हैं, वो मना नहीं, इस बात से हट नहीं रहे हैं अपनी बात से, and they are continuing the protest. And this political crisis in Belarus, all this that is happening between the present running party and the opposition, the entire nation, that is Belarus, that has entered into a dangerous stalemate. एक बहुत ही बुरी स्थिति में आ गया है. Situation. Stalemate is nothing but a situation or a chaos. Okay. Faced with the toughest political crisis of his career, President Alexander Lukashenko. Now you need to remember the name of this person, because since Belarus is in news, you might be asked in terms of current affairs in this section, who is the president of Belarus, or Alexander Lukashenko is the president of question mark. So you have to know that is Belarus. Often called the last dictator of Europe. Again, a very important point with current affairs perspective. Who is the last dictator of Europe? That is Alexander Lukashenko. Shows no sign of compromise for a peaceful settlement of the crisis and a smooth transition of power. So this man, he is against transferring the power or transmission of the power. He has stuck to his plan. He's right there. He's clung to the power, and he is not willing to peacefully settle any dispute that is there. Okay. Earlier this month, he was secretly sworn in while his security police continued to crack down on the opposition. Now what he did, he secretly sworn in, like उन्होंने चुपके से चोरी चुपके शपथ ले ली, और जो ऑपोजिशन जो प्रोटेस्ट कर रही है उनके अगेंस्ट, उनको अपनी जो सिक्योरिटी पुलिस है उनको भेज के उनको कंट्रोल में करवाया. Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, that is again a weird name, the main opposition leader and Mr. Lukashenko's challenger in the August 9 election, is in a self-imposed exile in neighboring Lithuania. So he's in self-imposed exile. Exile is देश निकाला, है ना? एक तरीके से कि आपको कहीं से exile is a noun which means when it is an act wherein someone is thrown out of the native country, okay, or asked to leave the native country as a punishment. That is exile, but this is a self-imposed exile. He himself left his country and he is there in the neighboring Lithuania. Now, this man, that is Svetlana, he is the challenger, he is the opposition leader wherein against Mr. Lukashenko. Okay, again remember this name. Maria Kolesnikova, another key opposition figure, is in detention. Now this person is in detention, that is in police custody. Maybe because of some charges, or वो उनको निरोध में रखा गया है, पुलिस कस्टडी में है वो. Thousands of other protesters have been detained. अब क्योंकि वो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं तो उनको डिटेन कर लिया है पुलिस ने. But despite the regime's coercive tactics, coercive is an adjective which means forceful. Okay? कहते हैं ना कि एक जो बलपूर्वक कोई काम होता है, so that is coercive. So जो regular process है उसका coercive जो tactics, पैंतरे, this is a simple word, tactic, पैंतरे, चालबाजी. The protests on the street continue to swell. Despite the regime's coercive tactics, जो कि process है जो rule का, उसके चलते भी protest बढ़ते ही गए street पर. Okay? The crisis began after the country's election commission declared Mr. Lukashenko, who has been in power since 1994, the winner of the presidential election with 80% vote, but the opposition claims the vote was rigged. See, he won the election with 80% of vote, but people or the opposition believes that the vote was rigged, which means they were assembled. They were gathered. Rigged is a verb, okay? कहने का मतलब है उन्होंने इन चीजों को एकत्रित कर लिया था. एकत्रित करना या फिर कहते हैं ना धांधलेबाजी करना. So, amid growing protests, the EU and the US have thrown their weight behind the opposition, while a beleaguered Mr. Lukashenko has turned to his most important ally, Vladimir Putin of Russia. Now, I'm going to wipe up the screen and explain you because there are many words to explain. So, amid the growing protests, EU and US, what they have done is they have thrown their weight behind the opposition. Throw their weight is a phrase. Throw one's weight means to emphasize or implement authority or influence people using your power and authority. That is throw one's weight. So what has it? It's thrown their weight behind the opposition. And while a beleaguered Mr. Lukashenko, beleaguered is an adjective which means someone who is difficult to manage or someone who causes difficulty. Okay, जो मुसीबत करी खुद ही मुसीबत हो या कोई मुसीबत बनाए. While a beleaguered Mr. Lukashenko has turned to his most important ally, that is friend. Ally is mitra, okay, that is a noun, friend. So that is Mr. Putin of Russia. Mr. Putin has backed Mr. Lukashenko and sent consultant to Minsk to help the regime tide over the crisis. At present, जो regime जो कि rule जो शासन चल रहा है, Mr. Putin has sent his consultant to help him tide over the crisis. Tide over the crisis is a phrase. Tide over the crisis means to help survive temporarily. ओके, कुछ पल के लिए और कुछ समय के लिए मदद करना. Okay, that is tide over the crisis. Before the elections, Mr. Lukashenko had expressed the desire to take Belarus away from Moscow's orbit and strengthen economic and political ties with the West. This is what Mr. Lukashenko said, that he would take Belarus away from Moscow's orbit and would try to strengthen the economic and political tie with the West. That possibility has now been shut. With Russia's help, he might be able to hold on to power for now, but it is unlikely to solve any of the country's problems. Now, as of now, what he wants to resolve, the political crisis in the country, fine, that would be resolved temporarily at present with the help of Russia. But in the longer run, he would not be having support of Russia always. And this in the long run will not help solve or resolve the country's problem in the coming future. So this is what the writer says. Moving ahead, it says already battling economic woes. Woes is like it's a noun, woe, which means threat or you can say sorrow, dukh, dard. Okay, ek tarike se, that is woe. दुख दर्द. So जो sorrow है, जो anxiety है, उससे economic woes से गुजर रहे हैं and the pandemic. The political crisis has practically paralyzed the country. बहुत ही एक तरीके से अगर आप politically या economically भी देखें तो country पूरी तरीके से paralyze हो चुकी है. There is no energy. If Mr. Lukashenko's plan is to continue to retain power at any cost, it would invite international sanctions that would wreak havoc on its economy. Now, अगर वो अभी भी नहीं मानते और वो इसी तरह अड़े रहेंगे कि no, that he wants the power, then it might wreak havoc. So, wreak is to cause harm. It's a verb. ठीक है, कोई चीज नुकसान पहुंचाना या नुकसान करना. Havoc is a disaster. It's a noun, okay? So it might wreak havoc on its economy. If the protests refuse to die down, Mr. Lukashenko would find it difficult to earn legitimacy and stabilize his government. If these protests, they continue, they refuse to die down, means they keep on continuing, then it would be difficult for him to find out peace and settlement in the country. He should ask himself if his continuance in office is worth destabilizing the country that he has ruled for 26 years. if he thinks that it's worthy that he should hold the power over a country wherein he has ruled for 26 years, and if he continues to hold on, these protests and other things would completely ruin the country. Is it worth? Now, also a politically unstable country with a hostile opposition. Hostile is unfriendly. It's an adjective, okay? जो कि दोस्ती के नहीं है, हमारे दोस्त नहीं है. With direct support from the West would not serve Russia's interests either. And अगर हमारी country में ही politically unstable, if the country itself of Mr. Lukashenko, it is itself unstable, तो ऐसी country तो Russia के भी किसी काम की नहीं है. For future में how will it maintain or it have this ties, or I would say how would it count on Russia for always? By propping up Mr. Lukashenko, Mr. Putin might be protecting Russia's short-term interests. Propping up, that is by helping or supporting. But the ensuing is an adjective that is upcoming. जैसे हिंदी में हम कहते हैं आगामी. So the upcoming instability would threaten those interests in the long term. A peaceful settlement of the political crisis, a smooth transition of power, and formation of a credible, legitimate, and stable government is essential. So the writer says that at present, if we see, then Russia is also, if Russia is supporting Mr. Lukashenko, then some or the other way it has its short-term interests that are being served, and that is why Russia has come up to help him. Also, but for the longer run or for the ensuing instability, if you see, to overcome this, that is upcoming instability in the government, we need a smooth transition of power. We also need the settlement of the political crisis at present that is going on in Belarus, and we need a legitimate and stable government there in Belarus. Only then the people there and government can enjoy smooth run. Both Russia and the West should work with the Belarusian government and opposition to achieve this goal. So if the other nations can help Belarus, definitely they should come up and help it to resolve these political crises and come out with flying colors and come out having a stable government in hand. So this is, yes, the article for today. Yes, definitely. And these are the words pertaining to the political instability that we are talking about at present. So I would request you to practice these words. Look for the synonyms and antonyms in the list that we share with you every day. The link of the list is in the description. Go click on the link, get these words right there, and start practicing them right away. Alright, I will see you in the next session with another words and another set of words within our new article to discuss. Till then, keep learning and growing, and do not forget to hit the like button to the video. Also, not to forget to subscribe the channel for more sessions with us. Thank you so much.